Hello everybody and welcome to this small special video which, as you can see, I am recording in Mass Effect Andromeda. However, this is just because I want to have some video to go along with my voice. So I picked a nice spot here with a nice view into space. But this video is not about Andromeda, but it's about what comes after I finished Andromeda, which I suspect is still going to be a few weeks from now on. However, at some point I need to think about what games I want to play once I'm done with this one. And this isn't easy because, unlike previously, there doesn't seem to be like one clear favorite among my viewers. So when I was playing Dragon Age, there was an overwhelming majority of people who wanted me to play Mass Effect next, and when I was playing Mass Effect, most people wanted me to play The Witcher next. And I mean, Andromeda is basically just a continuation of my Mass Effect playthrough, so that was a pretty easy choice as well. But now it's getting a little bit more complicated because I have a bunch of suggestions and some are more frequently asked than others, but there is not one clear favorite like it used to be. So I would like to ask you to vote in a little poll that I set up, just to have an idea what kind of games you would like to see me play. Before you go and storm off to vote in the poll, which you can find in the description of this video, please indulge me for a while, because I would like to talk a little bit about the list and about my plans for this channel. So I hope you take some time to listen to that. So maybe before I start with a list of games in particular, there is one thing that I have been thinking about that I might do once I'm finished with Andromeda, is that I sort of change my schedule. Not in a sense that I change like my upload times or whatever, but so far I have pretty much always been playing one game with one daily episode and nothing else. I mean, for a short time I tried to have like a secondary series, but I very soon realized that I don't have the time for that. I mean, sometimes I do have time to make an additional episode, but I don't have it frequently enough to stick to a schedule. So I will stay with one upload per day, one episode per day. However, I figured that maybe I could just play 2 games and alternate them from day to day. So you would still have one daily episode, but you know, game A uploads on Monday, game B on Tuesday, game A on Wednesday, and so on. I think you get the idea. The obvious advantage of that system would be that there will be more diversity. So there's a greater chance that you will want to watch at least one of those series. I mean, often I get comments like, oh, I would really like to watch this Let's Play, but I haven't played the game yet, so I can't watch it because I don't want to get spoiled. So if I play 2 games, then maybe at least one of them will be to your liking or will be something that you want to watch. And obviously it would be more diversity for myself as well, so I don't have to stick to one game all the time. The disadvantage obviously is that it takes longer to finish one game, because there's only an episode every other day. So I don't think I will do it if my next game is going to be a very long game again, like, you know, Andromeda or Inquisition or whatever. So if a game has like over 100 episodes, I don't think I should space it out even longer by uploading only every other day. But you know, for a shorter game or maybe a medium-sized game that has like 50 or 60 episodes, I suppose that would work. So yeah, I have been contemplating to experiment with that, so let me know what you think about it. Do you have an opinion about it? Give me some feedback. Would you like to see me play 2 games, or would you prefer if I stick to one game at a time with one daily episode? I don't know. Let me know what you think. And yeah, now let's have a look at the list and the poll. Now, this is a short list that I selected from suggestions that I got on my channel over the last 3 years. And quite recently I posted a tweet and asked for, suggestions. And I made this list among the more frequently mentioned games. However, you may notice that some games are not included on the list, which has 2 reasons basically. Reason number 1 is I already played it. That applies, for example, to Skyrim, and that applies to Knights of the Old Republic, both of which are, suggested every now and then. But I would like to focus this channel on blind Let's Plays. I wouldn't completely rule out to ever play these games, but as long as there's still a long list of unplayed games, I think I'm going to focus on that first. And I mean, it's been quite some time since I played these games, especially Knights of the Old Republic is like way back. But again, as long as I have other options, I think I would like to play blind Let's Plays predominantly. And the second reason why a game might not be included on the shortlist is because it's a console exclusive. Now, I actually do own a console. I have a PlayStation 3. However, recording the gameplay from the PlayStation is going to be a little bit more difficult than recording it on my PC, obviously, because I need to get the gameplay from the console onto my computer. And as far as I can tell, I will have to buy some hardware for that, some sort of capture card or whatever. So, again, I wouldn't rule it out, but since it requires some additional investment, it's not my priority at the moment. So, as long as there are still a bunch of PC games that I can play, I will probably not focus on console gaming. Especially since a lot of the games that were recommended were actually for the PlayStation 4, which I don't have. So not only would I have to buy some capture hardware, but I would actually have to buy the PlayStation 4. So again, that's probably not going to happen in the near future. So yeah, I'm sorry for everyone who recommended Horizon Zero Dawn, which was actually quite a few people, but that one is PlayStation 4 exclusive, so it's just not within my means to play this just right off the bat. I would have to, make some investments for that. Again, it might happen in the future. I actually bought my PlayStation 3 years ago specifically because I wanted to play the Uncharted series. And I have played the first game of that series. I bought the second and the third, and until today I haven't played them, which tells you a lot about how much of a console gamer I am. But again, maybe at some point I will buy some capture hardware, and maybe I will start by playing some PlayStation 3 games, like for example Uncharted, and then we'll see about, moving on to PlayStation 4. But yeah, that's the reason why some of the games that have been recommended are not on my list. Basically everything that is console exclusive, like Horizon Zero Dawn or God of War or Detroit Become Human, is not on the list. So let's have a look at the games that are on the list. As you can see, some of them are not so much games as they are franchises of several games. So let me make a few comments on that. The list is in alphabetical order, and as you can see it starts with Assassin's Creed, which has been mentioned quite frequently. Most people just, say Assassin's Creed, like the series as such, and not one specific game. I picked Assassin's Creed 2 specifically because I have already played the first one of the series, way back before I even started making Let's Plays. So I wouldn't play that again on this channel. And I do remember that I actually enjoyed that one. It had some flaws, but overall I thought it was an interesting game. I liked the historical setting, or sort of historical setting. I mean, they have some elements of real history and they mix it with some, invented history and elements of science fiction and fantasy, I suppose. But I'm positive that I would enjoy the next game of that series as well. And as far as I know, Assassin's Creed 2 is actually like a trilogy in itself, right? So there's Assassin's Creed 2, and it has 2 sequels that are not Assassin's Creed 3, which comes after that trilogy. So, I don't know, it feels like a good way to start. Skip the first one because I have already played it, and then let's play the Assassin's Creed 2 trilogy. And then, if people enjoy that, there is the potential to move on to other games of that series. And I mean, it's a pretty long series, right? There's like 5 million games in that series, so it would keep me busy for a while. Now, obviously, it is a bit of a different genre than I usually play. It's a linear story, right? So there is no decision making, there is no role playing. But personally, I wouldn't mind to branch out a little bit if you would like to see it. And since I enjoyed the first game of the series, I'm pretty sure I would like the successor as well. So, if you want me to if you want to see me play Assassin's Creed 2, vote for it, and potentially I will play other games of the series later. The second entry is Deus Ex, which again is mentioned quite frequently, and it's another franchise of several games. I have seen a bundle on Steam that had like 5 games. Now, I don't really know that much about that series, so I don't know if I should play all the games or if I should just play a few of them and where to start. I mean, the first Deus Ex is pretty old, like 2000, I believe. So I would need some input or feedback on that to know where to start in this franchise and what games to play. But again, if you want to see me play Deus Ex, any or all of the games, just vote for it in the poll. Next entry, Dishonored, which is a bit more straightforward. I believe there are 2 games and 1 sort of spin-off. So I suppose I would just be playing the first 2 games and then potentially the spin-off as well if there is demand for it. Next entry, Divinity, Original Sin. Again, there are 2 games of this particular series. I believe they are older Divinity games, but people specifically asked for Divinity Original Sin. It's kind of a classic style top-down RPG, so it's a bit closer to what I have done so far, but still different. So if you would like to see that on my channel, go and vote for it. Then we have Fallout, which is another franchise of several games. I believe the oldest Fallout games are actually pretty old. They're like back from the 90s. So I'm not sure if I want to go back that far in my Let's Play series. In addition to that, there might be some problems even with the more recent Fallout games. I've read that some of them are not well adjusted for modern Windows systems like Fallout 3. So there is a small question mark here. I would have to see if I can make it run on my computer. And again, I would need some feedback or some info on what game to play in the series, where to start, and just some general recommendation how to approach this franchise. You can leave some comments if you have some insight on that. The next entry, Final Fantasy 15. Again, we have a very large franchise. In this case, I picked a specific game because most people specifically asked for this entry. And I actually do have some experience with Final Fantasy. I played 7, 8 and 9. I started 10 way back on my old PlayStation 2, but I think I never really got far. I don't know why, but at some point I just stopped and I didn't continue. So I know that the Final Fantasy games are basically all sort of standalone games. They all have different characters, a different story. They actually all play like in different worlds, so I don't need to have knowledge of one game to play the next. I mean, there are some Final Fantasy games that are like sequels, right? Like Final Fantasy X-2, which is not a confusing title at all. But every game that has like a new number is a completely new game, and it doesn't require knowledge of any other games, right? So I guess if I play Final Fantasy 15, that's just fine. And again, there is potential and the possibility to play other entries in the franchise later if people would like to see that. It's, an RPG, but it's, a JRPG, so it would be something slightly different. Then the next entry is Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. Now that is pretty straightforward. There's just one game, and it's pretty short too. I looked up all the, play length of all the games on this list on howlongtobeat.com, which gives you some vague idea how long it would take to finish a game. And Hellblade was like less than 10 hours, so that would be pretty quick. And I believe it's like inspired by Norse mythology, so it seems like something that would be right up my alley. So yeah, vote for that if you want to see that. The next entry, Life is Strange, which is sort of a decision-based adventure game, I guess, would be something different for my channel again. There are different episodes of it, and I suppose I would just be playing all the episodes because they all contain the story, right? The next entry is Pillars of Eternity, which again is like a top-down RPG. And then we have two Telltale games. Telltale games are definitely among the more frequently suggested games, and these seem to be the most commonly suggested games: The Walking Dead and The Wolf Among Us. Again, they have like several episodes, and The Walking Dead has also several seasons, right? So I guess I would be playing at least one season of The Walking Dead, and then potentially the other seasons as well if people want to see that. Again, it would be a bit of a change of genre for me, but why not branch out a bit? And finally, we have ye old Tomb Raider. Although I'm not actually talking about the really old Tomb Raider, but the reboot. I actually played pretty much all of the old Tomb Raider games, except the bad one, Angel of Darkness. But I played the, 5 games that came before it. I played the sort of trilogy that came after it, which already was a bit of a soft reboot because they kind of changed their backstory and they included some elements from the movies, the Angelina Jolie movies, into the games. But I haven't actually played the latest reboot, maybe because I was nervous that they would ruin my childhood idol Lara Croft. But I would be willing to give it a try. So yeah, if you want me to see, if you want me to play Tomb Raider, then go and vote for that. So yeah, we have 12 games on this list. I try to pick, a good variety of genres and styles. I mean, they're all sort of similar to what I usually play. You probably won't see me play like a racing simulator or a strategy game or whatever. Although I actually do enjoy me some Civilization sometimes, or Crusader Kings 2 on occasion. You should have seen me conquer the entire world with my Saxon Empire and then make everyone convert to paganism. That was fun, but it's probably not going to happen on my channel. So yeah, I hope that there is some stuff on this list that you would like to see. As you may notice, it's multiple choice, so you can basically vote for as many games as you like. I mean, this isn't supposed to be like a race with like one winner at the end. I just want to have a general idea what people would like to see, and obviously you might be interested in more than just one of these games. And I mean, if I decide to play 2 games after Andromeda, I will probably combine them in a way that they are, a broad variety of styles. So I won't be playing 2 games that are too similar to each other. For example, I don't know, I guess Assassin's Creed and Dishonored are both kind of stealthy, stabby games, if I'm not mistaken, so I probably wouldn't be playing them at the same time. Or, I don't know, I guess Deus Ex and Fallout are sort of a similar genre. Or, you know, I wouldn't be playing Life is Strange and The Walking Dead as, you know, decision-based episodic adventure games or whatever. But I will try to mix like two games that are recommended a lot, that are voted for a lot, but that have like different styles. I think you get the idea. So yeah, I hope everything is clear. I hope you go and vote for your preferred games. I'm probably not going to close the poll at any specific date, but for obvious reasons, you should be voting before I finish Mass Effect Andromeda, because by that time I will have to decide what to do next. And again, leave some comments on this video about, you know, what do you think about my plan to play 2 games? Do you think that any specific game in the franchises mentioned should be played first, or maybe skipped, or whatever? And I mean, if you want, you can give me other game recommendations, although they won't obviously influence this poll, but I will write them down maybe for later. So yeah, I hope I have made my plans and my ideas clear enough. So please vote, and I'm very curious to see what you will choose. And yeah, that's pretty much all I want to say. So thank you for watching, thank you for voting, and see you next time.